Captain Cassar served as a member of the Alpha Legion during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. Commander of a Harrow of his fragmented legion, following the great scouring of the traitors, this Harrow Master led his men into the Eye of Terror to escape the wrath of the Loyalists. Responsible for over 100 men under his command, this warband henceforth would be known as the Unsung. Such warriors fighting Chaos Space Marines and demons, stranded upon the world of Bloodforge, which erupted with endless conflict. A demon world, infamous as the battleground known as the Tale of the Butcher and the Blade. The scions of these rival demon princes of the World Eaters and Night Lords continued their grudge match, whilst the Unsung slowly dwindled within the crossfire. The warband of the Emperor's children Chaos Lord, Excrucius the Flawless, seeking glory from the campaign. The assured victory foretold to last a mere 17 minutes and 32 seconds by their Scryer surgeons would be thwarted by the Unsung. 200 of Excrucius's men, both Astartes and cultists in nature, would be slain by Cassar's 31. The Chaos Lord seeing potential in the Alpha Legionaries as valuable allies, offering them safe passage aboard his flagship, the Herald of Pain, in exchange for their aid during his next campaign. Acceding to Excrucius's offer, Cassar could not allow his Harrow to dwindle further. His remaining kin of Dasach, Akassor, Scarif, Shador, Felg, Kaifas, Makhor, Ulker, Reshk, Geskir, Kraul, Skrail, Halpheus, Fadekor, and Falkir, remaining loyal to their captain despite rising tensions. Venturing to the world of Sadreka, following the birth of the Great Rift, the Unsung struggled to comprehend the loss of the Astronomicon beacon and destruction of Cadia, wrought during their stranding on Bloodforge. The Imperial Defenders of Sadreka, led by the Imperial Fist Captain, Petrov Daisorian, filled with awe and dismay at the arrival of the living saint, Celestine. This gilded champion of the Emperor only fought upon campaigns destined to stand at the precipice of great defeat. Daisorian establishing a headquarters within Hive Endurance, the impending Chaos Warfleet sought to claim the so-called Beacon within, which acted as a contingent to the Astronomicon should its light ever fade. As Excrucius arrived in system, word reached the Chaos Lord that his rival, Kordas the Slaughterer, also sought to claim the beacon. The Unsung aiding in the Emperor's children's invasion as they rushed to reach their prize before the deadly World Eater. Tasking the Unsung to deliver a mortal serf known simply as Six, which they referred to as baggage. Should the mortal reach the beacon, Excrucius's efforts to corrupt it to his whims would be assured. Estimating the beacon to be lost, should their assault take longer than an hour, the Unsung fought their way through lines of the Sisters of Battle, as myriad Chaos warbands wrestled for control of the planet. Further complicating the mayhem during the invasion of Sadreka, Khan the Betrayer, alongside his Butcher Horde, entered the fray. His intent to claim the skull of Celestine for Khorne's Skull Throne, a fitting tribute to accompany the slaughter. Cassar and his men combating their first instance of Primaris Space Marines. The Unsung marveled at the advancements made to armor, weapons, and equipment claimed from the Imperial Fists. Captain Daisorian saved thanks to the efforts of Saint Celestine as the battle continued to worsen for the Imperial Defenders. As the Unsung neared their objective, Khan would bar their path. The already diminished Harrow splitting to evade Khan's rampage, Saint Celestine ordered the Loyalists not to fire upon them, as she divined the Unsung's future actions. Watching Cassar lose his arm during a duel with Khan, a demon which lingered within a blade he had claimed from Bloodforge called out to him. Cassar submitting his soul to the ruinous powers in exchange for a means to save his men, awakening from the bloody duel, finding his arm to be fully healed. Slaying the Imperial Fist Lieutenant, Aldarius, the Unsung fought their way into the planet's Adeptus Arbites facility and identified the beacon. A mortal man known as Caleb, blinded by the divine power of the Emperor and now imbued with his majesty. This living conduit to the Master of Mankind's light proved to be the catalyst to which the Unsung's charge would react. The mortal thrall of Excrucius, hoping to give praise to the Emperor as a truly loyal servant of his will. Despite his best intentions, as he reached the beacon, his pleas for redemption stifled in his throat as his demon host flesh birthed a greater demon of Slaanesh, Slefgraphy. Staving off the attacks of the Sisters of the Crimson Tears, Cassar looked with horror at the birth of the Keeper of Secrets, Captain Daisorian of the Imperial Fists, meanwhile slaying Kordas the Slaughterer, earning brief glory until the Betrayer intervened. Knowing his life to be forfeit, Daisorian stalled Khan's advance, in order for Canoness Lavinia to fall back to the beacon's position. His death by the hands of a bloodthirster, signaling the impending defeat of the Imperial defense. Saint Celestine, descending from the heavens to face the Keeper of Secrets. As her ardent blade banished the greater demon from the war zone, the Unsung secured the beacon and withdrew from the fray. Once more confronted by Khan the Betrayer, Cassar's men would be saved by Celestine, as she bought the Unsung crucial time to escape. Celestine's wings torn from her back before Khan beheaded the living saint with Gorchow's teeth, the Betrayer claiming his prize for the Blood God as the Unsung procured an escape void craft. Now diminished to a dozen men of his warband, Cassar had nonetheless escaped the devastation of Sadreka and lived to fight another day. The fate of the beacon, Harrow, and Captain Cassar unknown to this day. None know yet of Cassar's efforts to replenish their numbers, now free from the Bloodforge, have borne fruit.